If we turn our attention to Wasps, well, again, players to look out for them. Matthew Swan is going to be crucial in the midfield. Duncan Pearce, you feel, from penalty corners, again, is going to be a key component. But I think at the back, Cale Walsh and Kyle Brown, their experience in front of James Richardson is going to be crucial if they can keep YMCC at bay. And then the big question is, can Wasps get the goals at the other end of the pitch? Well, I'm Ashley Morrison, looking forward to bringing you all the action from this match. And our umpires for this game are Jordan Moore and Matthew Claxton. So the two teams have changed ends from the ends they were warming up in. And it gives me a chance just to thank our sponsors who have made these live streams possible. That is FMG, their new force in iron ore, Ausdrill bringing more into mining, Danks Furniture, proudly Western Australia, Tiger Turf with their 3 different systems of turf, and Kookaburra Hockey's #1, and SportsLink International, creating amazing sporting experiences for all your tours that you want to do for sport. Contact SportsLink International. Well, we're about to get underway. 2 35-minute halves in the competition. Who will come out on top and make their way straight through to the grand final, which will be played in a couple of weeks' time. Wasps already played on Wednesday, so it'll be interesting to see how they pull up. Pretty much the same team, no changes really for them. They had a 4-1 victory over Melville. It was a tight match really till it got to 2-1. As pushing back for them is Paul Robertson, and immediately Swan getting an early touch. Carl Brown at the back. Finds Swan. Swan put under pressure immediately by Graham Begbie. Begbie, the captain of YMCC, a former Kookaburra himself. In fact, had the misfortune when he got injured just before the 2012 Olympics in May. Ruptured his ACL, and it was Carl Brown who took his place at the London Games. Carl Brown on the ball now. Just letting that one run out for a long corner for YMCC. And who will take it but Begbie. The cloud cover has suddenly become very grey here at the Perth Hockey Stadium. We did have a little sprinkling of rain before the players came out for the warm-up. Hopefully the rain stays away. Begbie again, short pass, and then cracking that one in is Mark Boyne. Bouncing inside the circle, Carl Brown cleans up at the back for Wasps. And they'll look to clear. Swan, good movement from Wasps, and Brindabez up front, but the pass never came. Swan then trying to deflect it in his path, but it'll go all the way through harmlessly into Tyler Lovell's goal. That's a great overhead pass thrown to the right-hand side and played forward quickly by Marshall Pusey, one of the young guns in the side for YMCC. Marshall Pusey was with the Peel Rebels, just 19 years of age. He's the next generation of players coming through as they try to blend old with new. It's good defence coming forward from Brandon Gibbs. Gibbs gets the free hit, leaves it behind for Swan. De Bez will be surrounded by players. Begbie just got a touch and taken away in the end by Pusey. The rain is tumbling down here now at the Perth Hockey Stadium. Fine rain, but falling quite heavily. Patient build-up at the back. Josh Simmons cracking that one forward, and it was just too far ahead of Jack Welsh for him to bring it under control. It's given away though. Chance to break forward now. The ball falls to Colin Begbie on the reverse stick, just past the left-hand post of Richardson's goal. That wasn't far away. So first clear-cut chance going the way of YMCC. Just 4 minutes gone as well. Stolen by Eddie Ockenden. Ockenden again picking out Colin Begbie. The wind really picking up here. Long challenge coming through the back, but Matthew Lim looking at the umpire pleadingly, not getting the decision he was hoping for. Begbie stealing again in the midfield for YMCC as they break forward. Run on the outside, it was held up well again by Jack Welsh. Back to his captain. And it was a third-party obstruction, so free hit to Wasps. And that pass from Poozy, just catching his teammate on the turn, going harmlessly out over the side. Kerr Walsh just plays it straight into the feet of Colin Begbie, who grimaces. I think that one hurt just a little bit, catching him on the top of the foot. Brown carries over halfway for Wasps, finds it out onto the left-hand side. Joel Mitten tries to get around the back. The rain is really beginning to tumble. It's just blowing from left to right if you can't pick it up on screen. So straight into the face of Tyler Lovell. Initially it was falling fairly straight, but now being blown on an angle towards the university end. Good steal from Brynda Bez. Into the circle it goes. Chance to get a shot away. Barrett turns. Great block inside from Begbie, and another good block coming that time from Mark Boyne. Saved by Tyler Lovell. It's underneath him, and the keeper in the end had to just smother the ball, and a penalty corner going the way of Wasps. So a good break forward for Wasps. And the question is now, can they take the lead? Just over 6 minutes gone as Brynda Bez makes his way down to the baseline. Kyle Brown looking to do the stopping for Duncan Pearce. Alongside Pearce is Paul Robertson. Watching in the warm-up, I would suggest that Pearce will be the preferred option. Lovell just organising his defence along his goal line. Ball comes out, it is indeed Pearce. Good deflection off the first runner, which was Begbie. And that's Graham Begbie. It's a long corner to Wasps. Comes out wide now. Jamie Walsh. And that's to nobody in particular. And goes harmlessly over the baseline, so pressure eases for YMCC. Thrown forward, but Jesse Regan penalised for going into the defender's space. Joel Mitten standing firm. So Jamie Walsh, a little bit of space ahead of him. Goes back though to Carl Brown. And Brown was just trying to push that one into the midfield to Travis College, but College just probably came a couple of metres too far, and it went straight past his right-hand shoulder. And first time pass that time, going straight out of play from player coach Cameron Tremaine. Cameron Tremaine believes that his team has got the experience in finals, as some of the most successful players or teams in recent times, having won the Premier Grade title in 2013, 14 and 15. Wasps, of course, lost the grand final a year ago. So they're looking to go one better this time around. Comes out to their player coach, Carl Brown. Gibbs now. Short pass from him. Plenty of movement further forward. A great defensive play as well by YMCC, moving as one across the field as Swan wins a free hit for Wasps. Maybe a question mark whether the defender was the required 5 metres. Probably looked about 4 metres, but the ball now taken away. Kyle Brown, and that deflects off Begbie and then cleared up at the back by Marshall Poozy. Halfway line, tussle going on between both sides. Wasps again, just trying to calm things down. Gibbs, lovely little dummy, takes him infield, tries to find Swan, coming across, good tackle, and desperately trying to steal it away. Swan still going. Eventually the ball comes back to Mark Boyne and he manages to clear it out to the side, and the long aerial pass thrown by Jai Connolly. So quite happy to sit back at the moment, YMCC, and just wait. Kale Walsh looking to switch the direction of attack off the stick of Eddie Okinen. Keeps it in play inside the circle. Confidence enough to carry it out of the circle and just pull away. Great play by Okinen. Well, he's beaten DeBez as well. Initially, he beat Travis College with ease and then beat DeBez as he cut infield, but unfortunately Connolly can't keep it in play. Now 10 minutes gone. Best chance really falling, I think, the way of YMCC. Shot going just wide of the post from Colin Begbie. Wasps again certainly having the lion's share of the possession as they had the other night in the opening stanza in their match against Melville. Just helped over the side by Connolly. Carried forward again by Gibbs. Slips the ball through a sea of white shirts and managed to get it into the circle, but easily carried out by YMCC. And possession lost as he tried to flick it out was Glenn Ayers. Connolly, free hit being given to Wasps. Just leaving that one behind was Pearce. Inside the 5 metres. I think Adrian Baster was advancing. Must stay back until the ball is played. He just stepped across the 5 metre line. Oh dear, and that was lifted up, but it came off the YMCC player before it hit Okinen. So it will be another free hit to Wasps. Back to Walsh, Kale Walsh, and he goes again into the centre to his brother Jamie. And Mum and Dad are up in the main stand watching their 2 sons in action. I think a card may well have been issued, or is it penalty corner has been issued? Yeah, penalty corner in the end. So second penalty corner for Wasps. I think it was deemed a blatant obstruction and the umpire's just conferring and coming to the same agreement for a decision. So Wasps have had 1 penalty corner so far. It was brilliantly run down. This time they still have Pearce lining up, Jamie Walsh both at the first battery. The second battery is Brandon Gibbs. So all of those were practicing in the warm-up. Will they go with Jamie Walsh? Or will they go again with... Well, Pearce has just moved round the other side of Walsh. Comes out, goes to Gibbs. He sweeps low, and it's saved on the line, and a penalty stroke awarded. Well, striking on the line, Cameron Tremaine. There's nothing he could do. Lovell was beaten. And no complaints from YMCC. So striding forward is the captain, Cale Walsh. Can he make it 1-0 to Wasps? Walsh against Lovell. Waiting for the whistle. Goes, and Lovell saves. Well, Tyler Lovell keeps YMCC very much alive in this match. Just a step to the left. And bring your knees in tight. Brilliant by Tyler Lovell. That's just what his team needed, and of course they're going to miss him if they do progress through to the grand final, because Tyler Lovell will be up in Darwin playing with the Kookaburras in that Four Nation Invitational. Such a shame, because some players will never get the chance, obviously, to play in a grand final for their club sides, but international duty calls, and those are the sacrifices players have to make. And I'm sure this man, very relieved, Cameron Tremaine. He was the man who conceded the penalty stroke. Good pass forward by him, fans. Jesse Reagan. Reagan driving towards the circle, closed down. Reagan, good skills from him, took him in there, and that was off to Bez and played it straight up into his captain's body. So now the first penalty corner for YMCC. Can they do better than their opponents and convert straight away? Certainly looking in the warm-up, I have to say Josh Simmons looked really good from the penalty corners. His drag flicking looking good, and he is out there at the moment, so whether he'll be a preferred option, we'll have to wait and see. Just checking, I think, on what is actually going to happen. Simmons is at the first battery. It'll be Graham Begbie to be stopping for him. At the second is their leading goal scorer, Jack Welsh. So will it be Simmons or will it be Welsh? They go to Simmons, and good running again from Cale Walsh. It'll be a re-award as it struck his shins, but he was out very quickly. And just as it was being released by Simmons, it cracked into his shins. He was only about 2 meters away. And Connolly goes back down to the baseline to inject. Will they go with Simmons again, or mix it up and go with Welsh this time? Go with Simmons again. This time it's a sharp save from Richardson. He moved across to his right really well to block with his full pad. Didn't have to dive. Penalty corner awarded again. A few people shouting what for. I must admit my eyes were following the ball. So third penalty corner in a row now for YMCC. Is this the point where they finally break the deadlock? We're almost at the halfway point of the first half. Simmons has taken both so far. Will they switch it this time and go to Welsh? They do indeed. Welsh with his first attempt. It's gone in. Oh, Jack Welsh is their leading goal scorer with 15 goals. He's just made it 16. So a good drag flick low down from Welsh. And that makes it 1-0 to YMCC. And the first one that Welsh was allowed to have a go at, he managed to find the backboard. YMCC, who were top of the ladder, find themselves a goal to the good, and it's now there for WASPS to come back. WASPS, of course, had a perfect chance to go into the lead, but Tyler Lovell saving a penalty stroke just about 2 minutes before that, 2.5 minutes ago. How the game can shift. Instead of being 1-0 up, WASPS now find themselves 1-0 down. Good defensive play coming across from Mark Boyne again. Long corner conceded. Still plenty of time to go in this match. Gibbs trying to find a way past Nikolai, but he couldn't get past. Comes to Gibbs again. This time he does get it across, but I think that was lifted too high. If we look at the games between these two earlier in the season, back in May, WASPS won 2-1 in that match, and in July, YMCC, who'd started the season slowly, suddenly got some momentum, and they won that match 4-2. So you would expect there are more goals in this match than just the one at the moment. And on the attack, trying to just deflect that into the path of Jesse Regan was Matthew Lim. DeBez pushing that forward, and unfortunately Barrett couldn't get it on the end of his stick, and YMCC able to just play it out of defence, and off the Wasp stick it goes for ball from the side. Good control by Colin Begbie, trying to turn. Wanted the free hit, and he got it. Marshall Roberts goes back into the midfield. Swan putting pressure on Marshall Poozy, experienced campaigner against the young Tyro. YMCC just controlling things at the moment since that goal. Lovely pass forward, picked out by Basta. And Basta getting the free hit. Comes back again to Roberts. He plays the ball square, and it was pinpoint accuracy from him to pick out Begbie. Unfortunately, that pass took a deflection, so it'll be a long corner. Graham Begbie over the ball again. Begbie, who played his 250th match for YMCC in the last game of the season. It was to seal the minor premiership, so not a bad milestone and achievement to have in the final game, and he'll want to go all the way and claim the grand final victory as well. Lovely steal, and a chance now for YMCC. Swan, I thought that was into the shins, I must admit. Ockenden looking at the umpire. I think he knew it was the shins. And a good tackle again coming across, that time from Glenn Ayers. Glenn Ayers is a player from New Zealand who is described by his coach Cameron Tremaine as being very physical. Stepped ahead well there. The aerial pass just thrown a little bit too high, but it's missed by Gibbs, and that's trouble now for Wasps. Kyle Brown trying to close down Jai Connolly. Connolly keeping possession well, and Brown just poking it over the side. Connolly plays on, still faced with Brown. This time the experience of Brown comes out on top. Good pass forward by him. Chance to attack now for Murray McIntyre. Been starved of possession really in the first half, and unfortunately the pass was not a good one coming from Miles Cale. Really put Lachlan Sampson in a bit of trouble. Sampson trying to keep possession up here, but it's gone over the base. That'll be a 16 to YMCC. Just trying to turn on the far side is Ayers. Ayers, though, good pass eventually. It's also a good pass from Ockenden, managing to find Baxter, and over the side it goes off the stick of Joel Mitten. Baxter over the ball again for YMCC. Ooh, just getting away from McIntyre there. Mark Boyne, I think his heart was in his mouth for a few seconds there. Missed trap, and McIntyre so close to stealing possession. The rain continues to tumble here at the Perth Hockey Stadium as we're getting close to the final 10 minutes of the first half. The ball comes through and a chance for Pearce to break forward. Calling for it was Barrett. Barrett receives the pass, advances towards the D. Clever little touch coming off the stick of Marshall Pusey and onto the stick of Barrett. Gives possession back to YMCC. Did I say off the stick? I meant off the foot of Barrett. Ockenden marked closely. And Travis College winning the free hit. Ockenden questioning what for. Swan plays on quickly. Back to College. College, reverse stick shot. Saved by Lovell. The rebound comes back to Wasps, but can't be brought under control by Cale Walsh. And there's a chance now for Baxter as he pushes it out onto the left-hand side. Connolly's forward. So too is Welch for YMCC if the ball had been played quickly. But safety first by Colin Begbie. It'll come to him again, but desperation at the back from Jamie Walsh. Spencer. So it was Pearce rather than Spencer. And that's just aimless from Barrett. Just having to wait because the ball had ricocheted back onto the pitch. So now able to play forward is Simmons. Simmons slides a good pass to Connolly. Connolly does well and manages to beat Gibbs in the midfield. Picked up again and the ball played quickly to Gibbs, who was then in space. Travis College now for Wasps. Looks to go back to Gibbs again. He's going to be surrounded fairly quickly. Baxter coming across. Clear stick check there, but he manages to get the ball to DeBez. And Barrett just on his heels. Not going to get there to that pass from Bryn DeBez. So we are in the final 10 minutes of the first half. YMCC leading by the 1 goal at the moment. A penalty corner converted by Jack Welsh, the 24-year-old who comes from Old Beach in Tasmania. And he'll be making his Kookaburra's debut up in Darwin in just over a week's time. Stolen, but won back by DeBez. College surrounded by white shirts. He's going to have to go backwards. He does. Goes back to Pearce. Comes out now. And Robinson, square pass. Jamie Walsh goes out to the left-hand side. Just help forward. Bryn DeBez will get that under control. Finds a foot. Free hit to Wasps just outside the circle. Cale Walsh comes forward. Looks to find it to DeBez, and DeBez's deflection went up in the air, but clearance goes straight back to Wasps. Walsh will collect again. Faced by Baxter. Just beat him, but he couldn't get the ball past Graham Begbie. And stolen back again by YMCC. Again, getting a little bit physical at the moment. There's a few strong challenges going in, as you'd expect. Simmons, though, does very well. But the free hit eventually goes against him. Bryn DeBez tries to play on. He wants the free hit. Gives YMCC time to get all their bodies now behind the ball. Lovell was advancing off his line. I'm sure he was maybe just shouting something to the defence in front of him. He's retreated now. It's a clever pass. And off the foot of Gibbs. It was a well-timed tackle, just dinking that onto his foot. And space found again on the right-hand side. Marshall Pusey, his ball goes through into the circle. It's going to get to Connolly. Connolly just wide. Well, Richardson came out, but Connolly had got to the ball before Richardson arrived. And a long corner. So Richardson must have just got a touch. Very, very close, YMCC, to doubling their lead. At the moment, Wasps struggling to find a way past what I mentioned was the most miserly defence in the season. 22 games they played, conceded just 25 goals, YMCC. A lot of people saying that that was purely down to Tyler Lovell, but I think it also has a lot to do with the defenders in front of him. Pearce with a good pass forward, appeals for a free hit, and the appeals are answered. Joel Mitten winning the free hit for his team. Carl Brown over the ball, short pass goes straight to Mitten, back to Brown. Brown slides it in front of goal, and who's there just to clear the danger? But Cameron Tremaine. Tremaine will close down again. Deflected over the baseline, long corner to Wasps. The option was to go back, and they will come back to Kale Walsh. There was thoughts about not doing so. Comes to Carl Brown now wide, as again he goes for the ball on the angle, and it just can't be brought under control by Paul Robertson. It's a good run by Robertson, but one of those tricky ones on the reverse stick to bring it under control, and then you've got to turn your stick around to get the shot away. Brown, good interception by him. Good anticipation, read the game well. Pearce, good pass now to Murray McIntyre. McIntyre again found Robertson, but he deflects it over the baseline. In fact, it was the defender off the defender's stick. In fact, we got a free hit just outside the D. So must have just clipped the foot on the way in. Swan to the back post. Lovell's going to have to scramble, and he kicks it clear. It goes over the baseline. Long corner now to Wasps. Carl Brown sweeps it back to Kale Walsh. Walsh goes out wide onto the left-hand side to the baseline now. Peels for a foot, and a penalty cause a free hit though, just outside the circle. Played on quickly by Wasps. Into the circle they go. Now they get the penalty corner, and high fives all around, but they need to turn this one into a goal. And then the high fives will be worth it. YMCC scored from their third penalty corner. Can Wasps? This will be their third attempt from the penalty corner. And we have 4.5 minutes left in the first half. Perfect time to score if they're going to go back in at half-time on level terms. Brenda Bez makes his way to the baseline. Once again, we have Duncan Pearce at the first battery. And at the second battery is Lachlan Sampson. So will they stick with Pearce? Whistle goes. They do indeed. It's Duncan Pearce sweeping low, looking for the deflection. Diving in. It was a good attempt, just too much underneath from Paul Robertson. And Robertson looks as if he's hurt himself a little bit in his exertions to get on the end of that. He got plenty of stick on the ball, but just unfortunately for Wasps fans, just lifted it a little bit too high. Robertson got the opening goal in the win against Melville on Wednesday night, and they could really do with a goal from him now, but it's good ball forward now from Nikolai. And upset with the decision, Colin Begbie entering a debate with the umpire, Matthew Claxton. Still continues. In fact, it's still going on as YMCC look to play it out the back, and I think Begbie, just the wave of the hand there, goes, "Oh, just forget it." Trying to get the deflection was Colin Begbie. He'll pick up possession there. Comes wide now for Graham Begbie. Short pass to Ockenden. Swan putting Ockenden under pressure, but cleaned up at the back again by Josh Simmons. Ockenden was good lead up that side, but unfortunately, ball didn't find this. Calls for a high press now from YMCC just to try and pin Wasps back as we enter the final 2 minutes of the first half. Joel Mitten, short little pass from him to Brynda Bez. Swan. Murray McIntyre now looking to just breeze past if he could, but he couldn't. And it's free, top of the circle, but just taken away from Joel Mitten. McIntyre was trying to breeze past Boyne. Got the ball away. Good turn from Pearce in the midfield. Barrett, short pass to Swan. Swan, oh, feeds it to the back post. Great pass. Tyler Lovell's there that hit the body. And there's appeals for a stroke. It's a penalty corner. I do agree with the umpire there. I don't know if that was going to go in. But what a chance that was coming to Lachlan Sampson. And he just couldn't get the shot away. And then Lovell was able to advance. And when he did, Lovell smothered. The time has been stopped. And I think the umpires are going to confer. So Jordan Moore consulting Matthew Claxton, see what his view was. And they're sticking with the penalty corner. I personally agree with that. From the angle we were at, it was hard to tell, but it just looked as if, yes, it hit the defender's body. Was it going into the goal? It looked as if it was going wide. It certainly didn't have a great deal of power behind it. And one could even argue whether it had enough power to get over the line. So De Bez walks to the baseline. Sampson rather has the chance. Now at the second battery at the penalty corner, he could possibly make amends for not finding the backboard. But they may go with Pearce again. They do indeed. Good save from Lovell, and it's flicked back into his own play, and Lovell's fallen heavily here. Everybody a little bit concerned. Obviously one of Australia's leading goalkeepers at the moment. And he leapt up, made that save, and then just fell rather heavily after making the second save and just hobbling back a little bit. Certainly Colin Batch wouldn't want to see Tyler Lovell injured. So fifth penalty corner now for Wasps. Duncan Pearce, who played for Northlands in New Zealand in 2010. He was their third highest goal scorer in the New Zealand Hockey League that year, National Hockey League, the NHL. But he's really struggling today to beat Tyler Lovell. So against Pearce and Sampson, they go with Pearce. It's gone in this time, and a smile comes across his face. And we're in the final minute of the first half, and it is Sampson who pulls it level at 1 apiece. It's not Sampson, my apologies, it was Pearce who pulls it level at 1 apiece. So the game really is on a knife edge. Nothing to choose between these two teams at the moment. There's only about 15 seconds left in the first half, and that was just what Wasps would have wanted before the half-time break. It'll be interesting to see whether we get more of the same in the second half or whether there's a change of approach by either of the coaches. Cameron Tremaine for YMCC and Carl Brown for Wasps, and the hooter's gone. And that is the end of the first half. So it was YMCC who took the lead in the 17th minute from a penalty corner, flicked home by Jack Welsh. And then in the very last minute of the first half, it was Duncan Pearce who swept home at the 5th attempt for Wasps from a penalty corner to make it 1-1. So at half-time, YMCC 1, Wasps 1. Welcome back to the Perth Hockey Stadium. This is the, well, it's semi-final 2, but it's the first one being played today in the men's Premier Grade of the Hockey WA competition, with the Kookaburras players based here in Perth, a lot of them playing in these games. And at the moment, you'd say Tyler Lovell, under the bar for YMCC, has kept his team in the game, although we are all tied up at 1 apiece. Duncan Pearce finally managing to beat Lovell from a penalty corner right in the last minute of the first half. And Jack Welsh getting the first goal of the match halfway through the first half. It was actually around 17.5 minutes, so we had to wait a while for both the goals, and it's going to be interesting to see how the second half plays out. Will there be a change of tactics, or will they both pretty much go the same way as they did in the first half, where Wasps probably had the lion's share of possession, but YMCC, as they push back and get us underway, definitely were rock solid in defence. Swan manages to feed it to player coach Carl Brown. He avoids the challenge of the retreating Jai Connolly. I expect the first 10 minutes to again be played at a fairly frenetic pace, I would think. Welsh is the one trying to steal that. Ockenden plays it back and quickly getting on with the action. Matthew Lim finds Ockenden again. Running forward and into space was Jack Welsh. Short to Swan. Swan, though, able to get onto his forehand and create space to turn. To Bez. Over the side it goes, wants to play on, and he thought he'd got a touch, or maybe he was trying to imply that there was a touch off the YMCC player. Certainly didn't look as if there was one from where we are, right above that passage of play. Marshall Pusey squares it along the back line, comes back to him there. Marshall Pusey, who was actually captain of the WA under-18s when they won bronze in the national championships. So he's a player that everyone's been watching for a while and claim that's too high. Wasps fans down below us far from happy. Marginal, I would say. May have just clipped the knee, but was the knee straight and in his standing position. Goes off Duncan Pearce's shins, no complaints from him. Good play by Eddie Ockenden. So YMCC comes in then to Graham Begbie. Over the side it goes, off the stick of Pearce. Ockenden weaving his way through into the shins of Carl Brown. Play on was the call, came back to Begbie. Swan, though, steals it away from him. Swan accelerating, lovely little pass behind himself to Murray McIntyre, but good defence coming across from Tremaine. Comes to Tremaine again, and off the stick of McIntyre over the side. Well, that was a strong challenge into the back of Colin Begbie. Brown, I think the player penalised. Begbie maybe making it look a little bit stronger than it maybe was, but it certainly was a little bit overzealous. The wind is blowing here at the Perth Hockey Stadium, but I'm pleased to say the rain has stopped at half-time. Swan again snapping at the heels of Pusey. Swan trying to get it. Pusey comes away with it. Just played it forward, though, into space, and free hit was won well by Eddie Ockenden. Should have been really cleared by DeBez. He didn't manage to do so. Tremaine now fires it into the circle. Weaving his way is Connolly. Connolly spins top of the D, and Swan just deflects it harmlessly away from all the danger of the circle. It goes out of play just inside YMCC's half. Played on quickly by Mark Boyne. Into space for Pusey again, who's getting plenty of touches at the start of the second half. Begbie involved again in a collision with Joe Robinson. Got the free hit. Now he'll crack that one towards the back of the goal. It came off Carl Brown's stick. Long corner. Almost directly opposite Richardson's goal. Tremaine decides to leave it to Graham Begbie. Begbie, space was closing down, but still got his pass to Connolly. Connolly now, followed by Brown, gets it back to Tremaine. Good defence by Wasps, forcing YMCC backwards. Comes to Boyne again. Boyne, short pass into the middle. Took a deflection and happy to let that one run out of play was Colin Begbie. Again, he plays it into the D, and that was a good ball right into the path of Jai Connolly. But he didn't get the touch in front of goal, and you just feel had he got a touch, it would have been 2-1 to YMCC. Should he have been more desperate? Barrett penalised for coming into the danger area. McIntyre played it off the shins and still going forward. Begbie this time is deemed to have, I think he's been deemed for a stick tackle, judging by the umpire's signal there. That was lifted again high when there was no need by Wasps. It's just those moments around the circle. They have the possession, they're getting into the forward positions, but then that final ball into the circle just hasn't been happening. Swan, desperate, dives to try and keep possession. Picked up by Eddie Ockenden. And Begbie looking to find Ockenden. Just a touch takes it away from him from Robertson. I think it was actually College who got the touch, not Robertson. Ockenden goes past Barrett, plays it to the near post. Good work inside the circle from Joel Mitten. Swan. And Welsh penalised, and no one from YMCC too happy about that decision going against them. Basta coming across, just taking it away from Gibbs. Comes back now to Simmons, who plays it out to Boyne. Thrown into the air, and Marshall Pusey again finds himself with space, and Carl Brown ahead of him, played it into the feet. Good play. Pusey looking to pick out Connolly. Just got a little bit underneath that. Robertson, though, didn't bring it under control. Connolly has. Connolly slips it into the D. It's going to break free. Wild swing from Mitten, but he took it away, importantly, from Michael Nicolai. And a 16 in the end for Wasps. Cal Walsh looking for options. Mitten now finally coming into the space, and the ball was thrown to Mitten. Had to just jump, bring it down under control. Good pass by him to DeBez. DeBez looking to slide that one into the circle for the runner McIntyre, but intercepted, and now carrying it forward again is Ockenden. Ockenden surrounded by Wasps players, and that will be a card. It's a yellow card as well for Wasps. So 5 minutes on the side, and pretty sure it was Bryn DeBez who was the player. It was indeed. So 5 minutes now in which Wasps are going to have to play with 10 players. And against YMCC, looking to get on the attack, that may be a period of time that is going to be very, very testing. Basta has to come back away from the corner. Tremaine, good run by him. Tremaine still going. Strong tackle on the edge of the circle. There's a little bit of pushing inside the D. Begbie got there, but it was just knocked away in the end by Joel Mitten again. Mitten doing good work in defence at the moment for Wasps. Comes wide again, and that's good from McIntyre. He's not kept it in play. Just stole it away from Marshall Pusey, though. Slows things down, and of course it eats up time on the clock while Wasps are down. Good play by Simmons. Mitten has to clean up again at the back as it wasn't brought under control by College. So Puzzi now at the 16-metre line. Took a deflection off McIntyre. It'll be another free hit to YMCC. Marshall Puzzi over the ball once more. South passes. Looks for Carl Branshin, finds it. Now it comes back and there's a chance for Matthew Lim. Lim to the top of the circle. Welsh dispossessed with Swan, and alongside Swan, Miles Cale doing good work. But they have conceded another free hit. Lim to the top of the circle, played in automatically. Nikolai just had it taken away, and trying to get on the end of it was Jesse Regan, but he couldn't get the shot away either. Two and a half of the 5 minutes for Brindabez have gone, and Wasps have managed to keep YMCC at bay. Swan let that one run. It will roll through in the end to Travis College. Plays it forward. Will McIntyre keep it in play? No. Maybe a few years ago he would have got there, but his legs are, well, they've got through over 500 games, so you can understand if they're slowing down just a little bit. Swan jumping in the air to bring that one down. Oh dear, that would have hurt. Just catching the shins of ankle, I think it was, of Lachlan Sampson, but obviously a lot of the shin pads have ankle guards nowadays. Trying to cut infield now is Glenn Ayers, the New Zealander. Good pass, picking out Tremaine. Basta, and nobody on the end of that pass. Glenn Ayers, who hails from Palmerston North, he's a former junior blackstick. Played in the National Hockey League for the Central Mavericks, who were coached by Shane McAleese at one point. Basta bursting forward now, chased by McIntyre. Basta keeps going, lets that one run. And unfortunately for YMCC, Connolly just couldn't get it under control and get a shot away. So now Wasps have it. Swan thwarted by Begbie. Travis College, brilliantly timed tackle, that time coming in from Mark Boyne. College comes back, concedes the free hit. Boyne looks to play on, but he took it from the wrong place, took it about 5 metres further forward than the offence occurred. Marshall Roberts says, I'll take it, as he comes onto the field of play. So we've gone past the first 10 minutes of the second half. Still no goals as yet. By that I mean no goals in the second half, all tied up at 1 apiece. Welsh opening the scoring for YMCC and Pearce equalising in the last minute of the first half. All the way through it goes and lifted into the body needlessly. Jack Welsh wasn't even involved in the play. And a penalty corner conceded now to YMCC. And it will be interesting whether Welsh is the man who actually gets the chance to have a go at goal with the drag flick. They favoured Simmons for the first 2 penalty corners that YMCC won, and then with the third, they let Welsh have a go, and he fired it past Richardson. Richardson again out of his goal on his traditional walk to the P spot. Connolly, the man who the ball hit for the penalty corner, makes his way down there to inject. In fact, it's Welsh isn't on the field of play, so he can't take it. Marshall Roberts lined up, and alongside him, Josh Simmons. So Roberts or Simmons. Roberts the slightly taller of the two. They go with Simmons. He goes on to the reverse. It ricochets up off the stick of Cale Walsh. Long corner. Taken quickly and into the feet it goes again. Another free hit to YMCC, top of the circle. Over the ball again is Simmons. Simmons just made Ayers hurry a little bit with that pass. Into the corner it goes. Ayers looking to steal it. And Mitten lets it run over the side, but thought it was his ball and almost took it. Kale Walsh now throws the aerial pass, stolen in the midfield, intercepted well by Jai Connolly. Comes to Marshall Roberts now. Marshall Roberts will get the ball back as well. Spent 2016 playing for Cambridge City in the England Conference East. Marshall Roberts. It was good to get that experience overseas and come back. Just the different styles of play. It's a good pass. Basta collects, plays it though, unfortunately over the sideline. Good lead ahead of him from Nikolai. Swan, surrounded by players, goes back to Kale Walsh. Walsh looking to give it to Brown, but that path was cut off. Short pass to Swan, wanting it back was Walsh. Swan was so short, Connolly nearly stole it. College now turns, and a little bit of a slip in the midfield. Recovery was very good. Wasps back to their full quota of players now, have been for about the last couple of minutes. So we're under 20 minutes left as it's played again and deflected up off the stick, but it was McIntyre who lifted it initially before it went really high. Ockenden with space, that is dangerous. Ockenden looks to take on Jamie Walsh, goes past him, beats College, but he just tipped the foot of College, so going to have to come back. Begbie waiting on the spot where the offence occurred. Comes back now to Simmons. Simmons looking up and contemplated the slap ball into the circle. Lovely little cut in from Ayers. Ayers into the circle. It goes, appeals for a penalty corner. And a push into the back of Welsh, not given. Welsh looking thoroughly disgusted that he didn't get the decision. And now Swan. Swan for Wasps. Looking to cut inside Graham Begbie. Just push that pass too far ahead for Miles Cale to get on the end of it. Ockenden again beginning to exert his influence in the midfield as Simmons picks up. Plays a good pass forward now for Connolly to run onto. Connolly looking to crack it into the circle. Top of the circle, working hard. Begbie now picks up at the edge of the circle. Goes to the baseline. Lays it back across the face of goal. Well, who did that come off? Because Jesse Regan with a good shot. It's gone wide. Now, did it come off his own player? Or did it take a deflection off the Wasps player? Certainly YMCC thought it was off the Wasps player. Angle eye was that very hard to tell. All I could see was it was deflected out of play. And I have to say, in the umpire's defence, his angle was even tighter than ours. Marshall Roberts, short pass from him, manages to find Matthew Lim. He gets it down the side to Boyne. And then he goes back to Begbie. Good pass, picks out Tremaine. Tremaine into the circle. Oh dear. And that was unfortunate. It was a really good pass to pick out Michael Nicolai. And unfortunately, it just clipped his foot. Miles Cale. Pass forward, manages to find Robertson. Robertson forced towards the side. Will be Wasps ball from the side. Kale Walsh. As Carl Brown just joining the field of play, has gone instead infield to Swan. Swan pursued by Jack Welsh. And a little bit of a shove, was that? Yes, it was, says the umpire. Don't think there can be any complaints. Welsh seemed to be leaning on Swan several times as Swan broke forward. Good advantage played by the umpire, though. Swan weaving his way to the baseline. Long corner given. So can Wasps mount something from here? 16 minutes left in the match. all tied up at 1 apiece in this semi-final of Hockey WA Premier Grade. Wasps were losing grand finalists last year. Minor premiers are YMCC. Just trying to see which way the free hit's gone. It's gone Wasps' way, as it certainly went up dangerously. There were 2 players down inside the circle as well. Swan was one of them. Both back up on their feet now, which is good. Carl Bram flicks it out wide to Bryn de Bez. Another whistle's gone for that, but it went in the circle, I think. Or was it deemed dangerous? It was dangerous. I don't really agree with that one, but anyway. Then Ayers advancing down the side. Pushes it to Basta. Basta has to beat de Bez. He pulls it away from de Bez and takes the ball, or lets the ball go over the side off de Bez's stick. And that's a wild swing from Bryn de Bez. He's only just come back on after his yellow card. Needs to be careful, because the next one will be 10 minutes, and with 14 left in the match, Wasps could not afford to lose him for that amount of time. Cleared at the back, that time from Brandon Gibbs. Over the side, anywhere will do at the moment defensively. Brandon Gibbs, who's another one who had some spell in the UK, played for Sevenoaks in 2017. Sevenoaks down in Kent. Kale Walsh pushing forward, gets the ball from Brown. Good pass to de Bez, and Barrett had run before the pass was made. One back by Welsh, good intercept by him. Swan now in the midfield, pushes it out into space, but nobody there. Gibbs had moved backwards, and unfortunately for Wasps, Sampson had moved forwards, and the ball went in between them both. A free hit goes Wasps' way, and YMCC thought it was theirs. Gibbs weaving run through the midfield. Gibbs still going. Good touch at the top of the circle. Gibbs will get possession back though and passes to de Bez. YMCC sitting deep now. Carl Brown trying to draw Begbie forward. Swan has to be careful. He had Marshall Pusey in close attendance. Oh, to Swan. That's a good pass back to Swan. Into the circle he goes, lays it back. Did that clip the foot of Graham Begbie? Not according to the umpires. And so YMCC break forward, and Jack Welsh gets the free hit. Jack Welsh gets the free hit. Now it comes to Connolly. Connolly faced with Gibbs. And Connolly claiming it hit the foot. And the umpires confirm, and the penalty corner is awarded eventually to YMCC. So this will be their 5th penalty corner. And can they convert that? Matthew Swan strolling back. "12 minutes left in the match." As Jai Connolly makes his way down to the baseline. Welsh is on this time for the penalty corner. He's lining up at the second battery, and he has Pusey doing the stopping for him. Simmons is at the first. Umpire now trying to get Wasps to just hurry up and get ready. There's no reason for them to take quite so long. Of course, they do have to wait for Richardson to come back from his stroll out to the penalty spot. So Simmons at the first battery, Welsh at the second. They go to Simmons. Good save from Richardson. He parries it away confidently over to his right-hand side and over the sideline. The protective gear hurled behind his goal. Ockenden Good mazy little run by him. Gets a free hit just outside the circle for YMCC. Ockenden comes across to take it. Just drags the ball back so that it goes the 5 meters before he plays it into the circle. Peels again for a penalty corner, and then looking at Matthew Claxton, the YMCC players, and eventually they are getting the penalty corner. Carl Brown now none too pleased because I think it was deemed that it came off his shin. So the 6th penalty corner of the match now for YMCC. They were 5th on the ladder in 2017, and they'd won the title in 2013, 14 and 15. Last year, Wasps were 3rd, but got to the grand final and ended up losing to UWA. They finished 2nd this time to YMCC, who is going to go through to the final after this game. So the same 2 players lining up. Josh Simmons at the first battery. Jack Welsh at the second. Welsh the scorer of the first goal from a penalty corner. Shifts slightly to the right. They still go with Simmons, but they change it. And it was in fact a shot that came from Mark Boyne, but it was blocked well, and a chance for Wasps to counter-attack. Murray McIntyre. McIntyre feeds it to Barrett. Barrett has space if he can get the ball across. He tops his ball across the goal, and it goes out for a long corner. Well, that was disappointing from Barrett. Just needed a good delivery into the circle in front of the goal. Sampson now wins another long corner for Wasps. Played out wide. Robinson, in it goes again, and this time Sampson can't get a touch off anybody. It goes over the baseline for a 16. Aerial pass thrown. We're in the final 9 minutes of the match now, brought down by Gibbs. Gibbs has made a hash of that. Free hit given away on the 23-meter line. Waiting to take it is Colin Begbie. Goes back to Graham Begbie and comes out wide now to Matthew Lim in space. Lim to the baseline. Welsh. Good 3D skills from him. And a penalty corner again goes to YMCC. Well, the momentum certainly has shifted, and it seems to be at the moment with YMCC. Kale Walsh asking a question. Kale Walsh clearly not happy with the decision made by Jordan Moore. But it's made, and it's not going to be changed. So as Jai Connolly makes his way to the baseline, YMCC wait. Richardson comes beyond his penalty spot this time and just in a crouching position. Stares off at the 2 drag flickers waiting to try and beat him. Simmons at the first battery and Jack Welsh at the second. Wasps again really taking their time, and not surprisingly, Cal Walsh the last to get behind the goal line. Is this where the deadlock is broken? This time they go to Welsh, stopped by Begbie. Good work by the first runner. And Welsh claiming that caught him on the knee. Now there's no video referral, so it will be a retake. YMCC's 8th penalty corner. This time Wasps, of course, no excuse to not be ready. Richardson, though, any excuse for a stroll to the penalty spot. So will they go with Welsh again? Will they try a variation? Boyne just moves over to the left. Welsh moves to the right. Simmons sweeps. Good save from Richardson. Looked as if he lost it for a second as it came off his mitt. And it went to past his head and out of play for a long corner. But a good save from James Richardson. And Wasps have survived as Welsh couldn't get the end ball that time as it was played towards him on the angle. Jamie Walsh now plays it to his brother. 7.5 minutes left in the match. Is it going to go to a shootout? Nothing to choose between these two teams at the moment, you have to say. Great defence from both sides. YMCC played 22, won 13, drew 5 in their season as it's cracked across the D but lifted again. Wasps played 22, won 14, so they won one more than YMCC, but they didn't draw any of their matches. They in fact lost 8 in the season, whereas YMCC only lost the 4 and drew the 5. So that's how YMCC finished on top of the ladder. (2016 rather), or 2017 rather, YMCC lost both their games to Wasps. This year the honours were shared, and in this match at the moment it's honours shared, but the penalty corner has been won now for Wasps. The question is, can they convert it? All the goals have come from penalty corners in this match, so it'd be a brave man to bet against it. Good work by Barrett to win the penalty corner. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of the game, watching the warm-up, Jamie Walsh looked like he was in good form from penalty corners. Just wonder if he's out there and whether they can use it. Doesn't look as if he is. So we have Lachlan Sampson again and Brandon Gibbs. Sampson is lining up at the first battery, Gibbs at the second. Gibbs has been the preferred option all day. It goes to Gibbs again, sweeps it low. Good save from Tyler Lovell. Brown can't pick up the rebound, and there's a chance there for YMCC to counter-attack. Using the width well. Welsh is forward. Ball is played to Welsh now. Welsh will look to turn and play it on the reverse stick. Instead he spins looking for a foot. Good defence and feet well out of the way. Good play by Mitten and Brown. Deflected into the circle and then cleared by Richardson, coming off his line and making sure that Graham Begbie couldn't get a shot away. 4.5 minutes left. Lovely short pass to Ockenden. Ockenden into the circle he goes and just ran out of play. Kyle Brown was waiting for the whistle. I don't think he heard it, but 16 was given. And now Wasps swarm forward. DeBez. DeBez has to get the better of Begbie. It's a good pass by Bryn DeBez at the top of the circle, but unfortunately Sampson didn't bring it under control and YMCC stole it, but Brown stepped forward and intercepted again to give possession back to Wasps. Swan now. Goes back to Jamie Walsh, back to Swan again. Swan tries to turn and help it down the line. Sampson, short little pass from him is a good one. Into the circle, turning and laying back was Robertson, but it will break free. It's going to be picked up by Miles Cale. Cale sliding it into the circle, across the face of goal, and it's gone out for a long corner. DeBez, I think he was just trying to set that up for somebody else. Brown, and he has Walsh wide on the left-hand side. Instead comes back to Jamie Walsh. Cale Walsh will get it now. Cracks it in, it's available, and trying to shoot on the reverse stick, or just try and flick it on the reverse was Paul Robertson, but claims it just clipped his foot. 3 minutes left. Ockenden trying to spark something for YMCC. Ockenden running straight into Brown, I think it was. Or was it? Just trying to look at. Slow to get to his feet. Swan is there. It was, in fact, Carl Brown. Carl Brown says he's going to just run that off, and I'm sure that there's a few fact he's going off. He can't seem to run it off. Big smile on his face. And Eddie Ockenden running into you at full tilt is not a pleasant experience. There's a few players I think have experienced it over the years. Tasmanian steam train. So we've got 2.5 minutes left now. Jai Connolly forced backwards, plays it infield, comes to Simmons. Simmons looking for options, comes wide now to Glenn Ayres. Ayres loves to run with the ball. Good work coming from Sampson, who's dispossessed him. Now it's Jamie Walsh, but his pass cut out by Ockenden. Walsh then fouls Ockenden. Graham Begbie calms things down for YMCC. A great pass by him, looking for the run of Welsh, but unfortunately it just bobbled over Welsh's stick. Once again gives us a chance quickly to thank our sponsors: FMG, Osdrill, Danks Furniture, Tiger Turf, Kookaburra and SportsLink International for their support of the live stream of these finals and the league games throughout the season 2018. Swan, well, how did he manage to keep possession? And he's played it back to the baseline, and unfortunately the pass back to him didn't come off, and YMCC bursting forward. And that is now a foot race, bursting forward though, showing his pace as well. She'll keep that in play. Oh, no, he won't. He looked to have done such a good job. And to be honest, Kale Walsh, well, he was just cruising back. It's a case of Walsh being a Porsche, but Walsh being the Rolls Royce, and just smoothly closing down the gap and collecting the ball. And that's played over the side, unfortunately, by Robinson. Graham Begbie plays on quickly. Pass is a good one down the baseline. Jai Connolly thwarted by Robinson. Long corner. We're in the last minute of this match. Graham Begbie. We said it was going to be close. I didn't expect it to be quite as close as this, and that pass is misdirected, and Begbie not too happy with the movement that he got from Jai Connolly there. Connolly, one of the young guns coming up, played for the Yacht Club in Geraldton before moving to play for YMCC. Ockenden, though, has stolen it away from Sampson. Ockenden plays it to Nikolai, and it's going to be a goal right at the death, sliding in at the back post. Jack Welsh. Well, Welsh gets his second, and he's got undoubtedly the winner now for YMCC. Crazy circumstances in which to concede, and the minute the ball was given to Ockenden, you thought there's trouble. YMCC scoring with 8 seconds left on the clock, and it looks as if they are going to progress straight through to the grand final, and Wasps will be back next week. And the Wasps players just hanging their heads as well they might. They could have taken it to a shootout, but unfortunately they concede right at the death. Great movement inside the circle coming from the YMCC players. Good vision from Ockenden, but it was Jack Welsh at the back post who was desperate enough to get on the end and tap the ball past James Richardson, which resulted in a score that reads YMCC 2, Wasps 1.